Let's see, 18 minutes past 7 the time now. For over 90 years, all drivers had to display a tax disc in their windscreen, but not for much longer. They're being phased out from the start of next month, and instead the details will be recorded electronically.
Some, though, say the changes haven't been fully explained. Breakfast Tim Muffet has been finding out more for you.
Now you see them, soon you won't.
Road fund licences were up to £25.
The tax disc, a legal requirement for motorists since 1921, but from October the 1st, they'll be vanishing fast.
On that day, you won't receive a tax disc anymore and you won't need to display one on your windscreen, but you will still have to pay the tax, and you can do that online or over the phone. It's a big saving for the taxpayer, around 10 million a year. The second point is we don't need it anymore to ensure that we can enforce. First, we can do it from our records, but also we have the cameras you'll see around, particularly British Transport Police, and our own cameras on our own cars.
It's not displayed on the screen. No, it's down in the should be in the bottom left-hand corner.
So, whilst checking a tax disc visually was once the best way to catch tax dodgers, number plate recognition and computerised records have made circular bits of paper redundant. But that's not the only change facing motorists. As things stand, when you sell a car, any remaining tax can be transferred with the vehicle to the new owner, but not for much longer. From the 1st of October, anyone selling a car will get an automatic refund of any unused tax. Anyone buying a car will need to tax the vehicle themselves before driving it away.
The benefit will be far easier because you simply stop paying for the tax when you sell the vehicle and the new owner takes it on, and it removes any possibility of fraud or, you know, people using other people's tax discs or the wrong people claiming a refund that we know used to go on.
But Philip Nothard begs to differ. His organisation provides vehicle data to dealers across the UK.
Within the dealer network, they're confused. They don't feel that they've had clear communication, and they're the ones that are actually looking after the buyers. Visually, they won't be able to tell whether that car is legally taxed or untaxed, and they will have to think about the process when they're buying a car, that they will have to tax that car themselves.
The RAC says more than a third of drivers they surveyed didn't know the changes were taking place. 63% thought scrapping paper tax discs would lead to more untaxed vehicles on the road. And there's another change that's raised eyebrows. When selling a car, tax refunds will apply from the following calendar month. But with the new rules, once a car is sold, the new owner will need to tax it straight away. So in effect, for that month, 2 lots of tax will be paid. So farewell tax discs. For better or worse, car windscreens are set to become a little less cluttered. Tim Muffet, BBC News.
Well, let's talk about this more with Oliver Morley, who's the Chief Executive of the DVLA, so quite a big change for all of you, I imagine. Let's just pick up that thought about 2 lots of tax being paid when a car is sold, because some people are concerned it's a money-making exercise.
OK, so we're expecting there not to be any net gain. So 2.5 million people don't actually claim their refund every year. So what we're trying to do is give an automatic refund. So those people who didn't will now get an automatic refund as soon as they tell us that the car's being disposed of.
Lots of people get in touch with us with some practical questions. Maybe you can help us. One of them is, say, if someone parks outside your house at the moment, often people look at it, and one of the things they look at, see whether everything's OK with the car, is they look for a tax disc. Now, in the absence of that, how can you tell whether that car is legal?
Well, of course, the truth is that a tax disc only shows what happened at the time it was taxed. So that tax might have been refunded, for example, or it doesn't represent whether it's insured or not. So the best way for people to tell is they can just go online to www.gov.uk and they can have a look there, and they'll be able to see whether the car is taxed, whether it has insurance,
so you can
and
go
MOT.
in and you can put the registration of any car
Absolutely.
in, and it will come back and tell you.
Absolutely. It'll come back and tell you all you need to know. And it's really easy. You can do it on your mobile. It's very, very easy.
Has that happened before? Have you been able to do that before?
You have, but we've really improved the service, so we've made it much cleaner, much easier to use and much easier to find from the
So, in effect, you can sort of check up on your neighbours. Can you see whether they're paying their insurance?
Which is exactly what people would do before with the tax disc.
Now, a couple of other questions for us. Peter's got in touch saying, if you're in an accident, one of the first things you do is check if the other vehicle is taxed. And that may not be very practical, but that is one of the indicators people looked at, wasn't it? About the car they were involved in. They'd look, you know, has it got a tax disc or not? Presumably you can't do that, but could you immediately access for a remote device?
You can immediately go online, and of course the police have access to our database, so they'll know immediately at the scene of an accident.
If they've been called, that's what I mean. That's later, isn't it?
If they've been called, but at that very moment, they could check anyway, just instantly on their mobile.
OK, and just tell us, for example, if you are one of those people who has a car perhaps parked near their house that they find out it is not taxed, and they've got to go to an effort to do that, haven't they now? What do they then do? What do they? Because it sort of becomes incumbent on... You presume that the parking warden goes and looks, don't you, and then it becomes a problem that they take on, or the police take on?
Well, they can notify us just in the same way they have in the past.
So they would notify you rather than the police?
Absolutely. Or the police, it's absolutely fine, but just in terms of making us aware of the issue, they can tell us just as though the way they did in the past. But of course, the main way we do this is from the record. So we know what cars have been taxed and what cars have not been. And obviously some people do forget. So we just send them a gentle reminder and then a stronger reminder, just to make very clear to people. We also pick up from our own cameras as well. It's not, you know, we haven't been enforcing this that way for the past 4 years. So we've been really using from the record and from cameras much more than the tax disc over the past 4 years anyway.
Now, in the reports, there were car dealers saying there were bits of this they're not clear about. Now, that's a bit worrying, isn't it, given that, you know, how soon this is all kicking in?
So, actually, that survey was from over a month ago. It was around 66% of awareness. We've talked to over 6,000 stakeholders and obviously done a huge amount of communication with the whole country.
Which is the bit they're not clear about? If someone comes in saying, you know, I want to exchange my car, what was the bit they're not clear about?
Well, to be honest, we've done 2 really significant web chats, and I've also asked Philip, who was on that package there, to just be clear about what people are missing. We think for the most part people are clear, but if they've got any questions, just come to us. Go to the website, they'll be able to see everything they need.
And you say, you know, you have said, go to your mobile, go to the internet, go to the website. What if you don't want to do any of the above, you just want to go to the post office? Still there, absolutely. We're very keen to say post office is there, really important for us. It's the best way for us to do face-to-face, and we're not changing that at all.
Thank you for those. And
there'll be more questions for you, and I know you're coming back later.
Back in an hour's time. For the moment, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Still to come on Breakfast this